As I said, I worked on the Hill. I worked for a number of NGOs. It was primarily, peace, human rights type of stuff. During Latin America, I was part of a founder of the Commission on U.S. Central American Relations, which was comprised of, former senators, members of Congress, diplos, military people, NGO people. It was primarily anti-interventionist. Reagan wanted to go, great guns into Central America with Nicaragua, Salvador, Guatemala, and everything else, started a culture war. And clearly we're opposed to that. I mean, I did a lot of that work when I worked in Congress. Short, so I was in Washington, burned out, and wanted to find something different. I was just too much. I mean, it's like 25 straight years of just sort of war, peace, and having a good time and everything that entails,
Yeah.
Sort of wine, women, song, politics, and it was just, on occasion one hits a brick wall and then, says time to do something else. And so, as I said, my wife and I were walking into a bookstore. There was a sign that said "bookseller wanted." So I said, "What the hell, Yeah, bookseller would not be a substitute for plastics, young man. Plastics." No, I mean it's sort of crazy. It is a dying. It's sort of a dying business. Reading is not, but sort of bookselling, in a sense, is. I mean, it's imperiled. I think it'll be around a long time, but unless there's sort of a sea change back. I mean, they're going to be sort of few and far in between. I mean, you go to D.C., Philly, New York, you used to see used bookstores all the time. Now they're a rarity.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the Strand. I mean, there's a couple little ones here, there. You go to Baltimore, Royal, Drusilla is still there. But, I mean, they're all sort of like me. I'm 63, I mean, I'm not going to be here forever, obviously. I mean, I'd like to find someone young to, come in and who has a knack, has an affinity, not just likes books, but sort of, has something electric when it comes to it, because that's sort of the key to keep it going. Your own investment, your own interest, your knowledge base. But yeah, it's, I like to say I'm doing pretty well for a dying profession. Yeah. But I thought my chances of survival would be much greater if I added other products to the mix. Pottery. So I'll bring in some pottery, and I have family in Spain. I had pottery from the Middle East because I knew this family over there, and so I had an opportunity to bring in some really unique stuff, the Spanish stuff. And that came. My brother-in-law said, God, you should try this stuff. Just sort of knock your socks off. And it's like, whoa. He goes, I'll put you in touch with the owner if you want. And so I did, and then they sent me some to try. And then there's a distributor in Miami, so I ordered it, and wow. I mean, there's a hell of a following for that stuff. I mean, it's spectacularly good. I mean, it truly is one of the finest olive oils you're going to find anywhere. And Williams-Sonoma picked it up, so giving them a plug. But it shows by fine taste. I mean, it's easy to be a supporter of some very talented people. It makes life easy. But I'll never forget the first time Mark Castelli came in, and he sort of comes up and he goes, "Here, I met these kids. What do you think of this?" And it was facial features of French explorers. I look at the first was one of Robbie's piece, caricature on the cover, and I go, "Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive." And I look at this. Then I look at the dedications. It's dedicated to Jacques Chirac, and I said, "Where are they? Bring them in. This is a go." So yeah, I mean, we're in uncharted waters again, because the face of small towns like this are totally changing. I mean, I was in Spain not too long ago and traveling part of the country, and you just see, closed signs all over there. Restaurants you've been going to for 25 years, closed. Sale signs all over. So, I mean, it's a global issue. It's almost like a global correction of everything. I mean, it started for negative reasons. I mean, the economies were mismanaged. I hate to get political, but, we had 8 years of just total dereliction of responsibility from the federal government. A lot of people are just, blame Obama. But, there was a government in charge that basically underfunded enforcement agencies, let bankers run wild, let the market run wild, and we're paying the consequences. Downtown Chestertown, as I see it, is just sort of, it's small town business. It's sort of the lampshade, if you will, to the lamp. I mean, the real engine of commerce is the college, it's Dixon Valve, it's Dave Bramble, it was Upper Shore. It's those small businesses. I mean, I'm tiny, I'm micro, I'm not even a dot, You know, I'm not even the proverbial fly on the elephant. You know, I mean,
You're bigger than
I mean, but it's those type of businesses that are the real engine of the economy here that bring in, you know, decent paying jobs that need an educated workforce. It's going to be the future of this town. I mean, you know, a downtown that's prosperous is going to make the town look good. You know, with all the storefronts filled, they look well. You have street lighting, you have very little crime, you have people walking around, you have things that look like it's functioning, and just the image of that is incredibly significant. You know, when you drive through a small town, the only thing you see is people hanging out in front of a washer, dryer, a laundromat. You know, then you know you're in trouble. So, I mean, we're going through a lot of change, but I think compared to a lot of small towns in this country, we are doing incredibly well. And I mean, I also this is the downtown area. It should be reserved for commercial enterprises. I mean, the presence of the Republicans on High Street add absolutely nothing. They had no charm, no style, no taste, no elegance, no product, no commercial viability. They're there to sit there and scream and whine. In that sense, I find it offensive. They have the right to do it, to be wherever, say whatever. Yeah, of course. And I would be equally opposed if the Democrats took a commercial spot on High Street and threw a bunch of banners in the window. I'd find that incredibly immature as well, because it's a stupid half-assed way to promote your product. Their product is politics. Putting dumb signs in the window it's ridiculous. I mean, it's have a political headquarters, just say home of the GOP and leave it at that. I did sort of go off on a rant on the Republicans, but I mean, my rant on that office is more from a commercial point of view, because we need businesses downtown, not dead office space, and that's what that is. And so for me, their arrival, I could care less about their politics, but it does nothing to help the rest of the business merchants down here to have sort of a dead office, which contributes absolutely nothing to the economic commonweal of Chestertown. I mean, I have a low-grade interest in politics, but I have a great interest in politics because I want to see the area prosper. I want to see what happens, and with people like Harris, I mean, we're doomed. I mean, stagnation is his byword. It's like, if the Club for Growth doesn't approve it, well, neither will I, and so screw the rest of the, the 1st Congressional District. I mean, the whole idea of doing nothing for the Bay, nothing for disaster victims, and he gets his own health care insurance, of course, but screw us, And so, I mean, the guy's sort of, he's fringe. I mean, he's almost irrelevant to the process, but until the Democrats find a suitable candidate to run against him, I mean, we get him by default. I mean, having worked on the Hill, I've worked with Republicans. Some of my best friends were Republicans, and they were. I mean, I was on a baseball team, and it was Republicans, Democrats. I mean, Fred Upton, who's now the chairman of the Commerce Committee, he was my second baseman. I was shortstop. We played together for years. Stockman, all those people. And so I was, on a progressive staff. They were obviously conservative, but we got along fine. We had mutual friends. We were always at each other's parties, weddings, so on and so forth. Now, I mean, to play on the same team, you can't even sort of say hello to each other. The atmosphere has become so poisoned. And that gives rise to people like Andy Harris, who just sort of